Look at this thing, bro.
You got this.
Boom.
Veins popping out.
Dang. Guys, I'm super pumped. I'm just on my way to Intense Health in Applecross. I'm going to be having a training session with one of the co-founders, Marcelo. Come join us. He's going to give us a bit of a tour and talk to us about why he does what he does. So stay tuned, guys.
Welcome guys to Intense Health. This is our training chamber. We like to call the training room training chamber because it's a little bit more enclosed than most environments for training. We keep it really enclosed, private, it's just one-on-one training sessions. And we do advocate of a high intensity progressive resistance training protocol of training. It's quite of a large name. So the best thing is just showing how it works, and Dr. Blade's gonna jump in today on a high intensity workout. We can't wait to put him through it.
So guys, before my workout, I'm going to be doing a little bit of an interview and podcast with founder Marcelo. Great to see you again, man. Thanks for letting us come along to check out the chamber.
My pleasure.
For those of you who don't know, I've trained with Marcelo in the past, a few years ago now, but we were friends a long time before that. And we're neighbours as well, so my clinic's literally 20 seconds across the road. So Marcelo, I just wanted to know a little bit about your background, your training, in regards to your education in this industry. Also a little bit about why you decided to go down the high intensity route. So take it away, man.
Awesome. So I think it starts way back. I started to exercise when I was 14 years old because I was too skinny, and my mom wanted to put a little bit of size and muscle and strength. And then 16 years old, I really, I knew it. I wanted to do this for my life because I got to help some of my friends. And then after that, my parents sort of adjusted a studio of dance that my mom had back in Brazil, and we put a training room together and we started to sell strength training, which was pretty great for me. Like I sort of had my first gym at 16 years old.
Wow.
And after that came a university degree in physical education, post-graduation, exercise physiology. I competed as an athlete in a few sports, as martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Taekwondo, and other sports as a cyclist, and powerlifting and so on. But other than that, I think the most important experience that I bring to Intense Health nowadays and to this journey is more than 2 decades of helping individuals to find better solutions to be as lean, strong, happy, and productive. And I think that's one of the key elements, I believe, we got to this protocol of training nowadays, because in the past, I used to do myself too much and too often exercise. Like up to 10, 12 hours of exercise on a weekly basis. And then eventually, I started to see and experience some side effects, right? And it's like chronic inflammation here, a little pain there, or injuries. And then I got to a point that now this is not right? It must have a better way to get the stimulus of strength, muscle mass, the conditioning, the body composition, but none of the side effects. And then at a certain point in my career, I stopped getting new clients, and I just wanted to research and recycle all my studies. And eventually I stumbled across high intensity protocols of training. And trying to do it myself and really getting to work, I found ways to adjust the protocol and make it, suitable for all ages and conditions and sort of physical conditions, to really get everyone to engage in strength training. And I think most important thing, we need to get people stronger and looking after their strength and muscle mass for health and longevity. And high intensity training came about after, and it's just a very effective, efficient, and safe way to strength train.
Great, excellent. You were saying that you did a 4-year university degree.
Yes.
So what was your degree then?
So it was physical education, and I did a post-graduation, another year in exercise physiology.
Beautiful.
Back in Brazil.
Fantastic, that's great. And I remember we used to train together probably about 8 years ago.
Yes.
That's when we were doing the conventional
Yes,
sort of the way to the
volume
gym.
Of training.
And I enjoyed that as well.
The bodybuilding training.
Yeah, that was good fun. You did a great job. I got pretty some great results. So tell us a little bit about what high intensity training actually means to the consumer. What does that mean versus what we used to do 8 or so years ago?
Excellent. So that's a great question, and it's a really good point, because a lot of what we do nowadays is very educational, right? Because it's not meaning that the gym work doesn't work or any other type of training doesn't work. Everything to a large extent works, right? The gym training is very effective, but throughout the years that you have to put that amount of hours and repetitions and a lot of wear and tear in the joints, eventually some side effects will end up happening. Looking back to my own career and my own training and people that I used to train, amateur athletes, professional athletes, and general population, everyone that is doing too much and too often, eventually is going to experience some side effects, right? Some chronic inflammations, too much wear and tear in the joints, right? So that's the main point that I believe high intensity training brings the 3 elements, which is effective, efficient, and safe. And it's really effective because we are trying to do in here is fatigue the muscles to momentary muscular failure, to the point of fatigue that you can no longer continue the exercise. That's the trigger, right? We were chasing back in the day with a lot of sets and repetitions, more volume of training, which works really well, right? But nowadays, you know, like we used to do like 4 sessions a week, right? At that time, or 5 even. So nowadays we could do the same amount of, I would say, deep stimulus in your physiology for those adaptations in about 40 minutes or 1 hour.
Okay, is that at one time, or is that
no, splitting 2 or 3 times a week?
Wow, okay, so you're saying you can do 2 or 3 20-minute workouts in a week?
Yes.
Which is you can get the same outcome versus doing 2 hours in the gym 4 times a week. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Wow.
So it's kind of, you know, if you ramp up volume and frequency of work, you have to decrease the intensity. Right? It's just a natural rule. And if you ramp up the intensity, you must decrease volume and frequency. So what we do, we base the concept of training on what really matters, the key element, which is intense mechanic work with muscle. So with these machines that we have nowadays, allows the individual to actually focus on this key element, the intensity of effort. Everyone will be able to push and resist as much as they can in each exercise, pulling, pushing, lower body, and so on. But cater to their own strength curve. So the muscles don't count reps, right? The muscles don't understand if you're doing several sets or several repetitions, or if you're just doing a few but hard enough, right? The muscles understand hard work. So that's why we focus our training system. And high intensity protocols of training, they're very effective because and efficient and safe, it must follow with those 2, because not only we are triggering those positive adaptations in strength, muscle mass, consequentially functionality, but also once we get the muscles to really fatigue and get close to muscular failure, that's the safest part of the exercise, right? If you do that with proper form, guidance, if you get to those last few repetitions of an exercise, that's where your muscles are so weak and they cannot produce power to damage your ligaments, tendons, and joints. So taking the exercise to what we call high intensity level, sometimes the name can be quite scary, right? But in fact, it's the safest way to trigger all the adaptations in strength, muscle mass, bone mineral density, energy through higher, you know, lean muscle mass, metabolic capacity, and so on.
Yeah, wow. There's a lot of science behind it, Marcelo.
Yes, I think most importantly, once we talk about strength training, we should be actually talking about health and longevity. Because without looking at your strength and muscle mass, right, and you are really aware of that, we cannot maintain your body really fully functioning. Right? The DNA will understand that your body is losing capacity because losing functionality is losing its muscle mass and capacity, and then all the subsystem starts to downregulate, and that's where we see a lot of this metabolic syndrome and a lot of, you know, diseases nowadays that were not so common back in the day, 30, 40 years ago. So I think our modern life society sort of allows us to do everything so easily nowadays, right? We jump in our cars, we have remotes for everything. We don't do any hard work, right? So that's what we bring around 2 visits here for 20 minutes, but you get that hard work of the week, the right dosage of exercise on a weekly basis, right? And get on with your life. be happy. The aerobic metabolism to your heart and blood vessels, because there's no connection, right? There's always aerobic and anaerobic metabolism functioning at all times.
Right, yeah.
So once we really working the muscles to a high level of effort, we are definitely making the heart pump more blood more efficiently through all the other subsystems, which is again a very, very good stimulus for cardiovascular health. Right? Then you have to go out and practice the activity that you want to be good at, right? If you just strength train, you're not going to be good in playing soccer, because there's a lot of skills in playing soccer, right? Some people go, oh, but I'm unfit, I cannot play soccer if I just do resistance training. No, you just don't have the skills. Two separate things.
I like that. Yeah.
So once you are well conditioned, strong enough, a stronger muscle can perform better at any given task that you put that muscle through it, right? So once you collect the skills involved, plus the strength and the conditioning, that's what you want to perform better in sports and recreational fun activities.
Great, man, excellent. So if people want to learn a little bit more about you, we can leave a link below. What's your website?
Definitely, it's intensehealth.com, very easy.
Okay.
We have some landing page like intensehealth.net, because it explains a little bit more. Instagram account, all social media platforms, there's a bunch of information there.
Right.
People can apply for a free trial, come in and sort of experience to understand how this protocol of training can be effective, efficient, and safe.
Excellent, man. Thanks so much for your time, man.
Awesome. Thanks,
Good
Mike.
stuff. Okay.
Good
Whoa.
So most equipment cannot really change much the eccentric loading of the movement. This one, you can really match your strength curve.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone is a bit stronger on the way back.
Yep.
So in these machines, we'll match your strength curve eccentrically, which is, now it has a big buzz in eccentric training, and I could never find better tools to apply eccentric training like motorized resistance.
Very good. That's what this is, motorized.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool, excellent.
Yes, let's create an account for
Okay.
you. Sometimes one of the trainers will train with the client.
Yeah.
Right, and then they have, the trainer does the set and they follow.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, man,
Yeah,
because then they have to sort of try to do exactly how you do it. So we teach more even about form, intensity of effort, breathing. So, I definitely can push myself harder once I see someone with more experience do it. It's pretty cool. So it's always 16 to 18 degrees inside of the training chamber. We don't want our clients to overheat while exercising. That can be an element of stress to the body, right? If you're overheating while exercising, the body's changing its natural temperature, doesn't like it, wants to bring it back to normal.
Yeah.
While resistance training, if you can remain calm and not overheat, you can perform better. There's strong body research that supports training on the cold environment. You can do better in resistance training. Jump on this one.
So I have to try as hard as I can, right? Is that the key?
Yes.
I have to try as hard as I can. For how long?
20 minutes.
But like per set?
Per set, we're probably going to do one set first in manual mode.
Yeah.
Then I can show you how the fatigue sets in over time. And then after that, we can record some range of motions and do some automatic mode rounds as well.
Because I'm nervous, bro.
Now, remember the breathing.
Yeah, serious, yeah.
So basically, there's no weights involved. Right? It's a big motor inside, electronic component, both communicate here with the software. Right? We're going to start with a pull down exercise, big compound movement, back muscles, right? The larger muscles of your torso. So once we select the exercise, that's the computer screen, if it works. That's the computer screen that we're going to be looking at. We're just calibrating the motor as we speak.
Okay.
So again, you're going against a really powerful motor, right? It's 3,000 horsepower motor. You're never going to win.
Yep.
Forget about it trying to win.
Okay.
But the machine is essentially quantifying how hard you are trying, right? So you see this number here is the force exertion, right? We're going to be pulling, as much as you pull, this number will increase. It's just reading your force exertion. And then on the graph, you're going to see a line in black on the concentric force, pulling, and you're going to see a line in red on the eccentric force. So as much more force you display, the line's going to be following whatever you put into the exercise. This green zone here, we can identify fatigue setting in over time. So 3 or 4 reps, you're going to find your max force exertion will be the top of the green. The bottom of the green is consequentially 40% of your 100% capacity. Within 5 or 6, maybe 7 reps, it's going to be hard to go back to the green zone.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to go in and out quickly. Then I know for a fact we fatigue at least 40% of your 100% capacity.
Okay.
That's the inroad mode.
Love it. Inroad.
So we are momentarily weakening your muscles. That's what inroad means. And here we can select, we're going to inroad your musculature 40% of your 100% capacity. I could change that to 35, to 30, to 25, which is even harder, but just as a baseline start, we're going with 40% inroad mode.
And why do we want to get into inroad?
So the inroad is basically to get that muscle to fatigue, right? Normally with gravity-based weight stack machines, it would be the point of the exercise that you could not complete another rep, right? You couldn't complete a full range of motion rep. Here, because the machine is moving on its own, what happens is we're going to take the muscles and we can quantify that, which is really cool, to a 40% level of fatigue of your max.
Okay.
Right? So we're going to find your max on the first few reps. Okay. And then going with constant tension, it's going to be hard to catch up. And pretty soon you're going to fatigue at least 40% of your max.
So I'm giving 100%.
Yes.
The whole time.
Just the first rep. We're going to show you how it works. We're going to sit down here. We're going to put a seatbelt on.
Ooh, strap in.
Yeah, a little bit different, but it's not going to eject you or anything like that. Back and hips attached to the seat. And then we go into this V-bar in here.
Yep.
Right? You're going to be pulling all the way down, close to the chest, head back a little bit, and then resisting against on the way back up. Right now there's no resistance there, just demonstrating. But once you start, the motor is going to go down to very slow speed. Your goal is trying to accelerate, pull faster and harder. When it pulls back from you, you want to resist against all the way to the top. Right? But the first rep we're going to use as a warm-up repetition. I want you to pull mildly on the first, mild effort all the way, and resist against mildly. That's the best warm-up to the target muscles. You're gripping your flexors of your forearms, your biceps, and your back muscles. And the second one, you're good to go. Right? Yeah. Breathing, always through your mouth. Keep your jaw open and let the air go. Right? We're not going to be able to like you normally do in the gym, right? Because here is going to be very slow. You want slower speed so you have more demand on the muscles. So basically, just keep the air going. In and out your mouth. It gets harder. Instead of holding your breath and grunting, I want you to breathe faster, right? The opposite. Keep breathing. The body demands more oxygen, you have to give it to it, not do the opposite. Otherwise, you're going to hold for 2 seconds, you're going to run out of energy. We want to take this to as long as possible, right? So once we get down to the green zone there, boom, you're gone. Yes.
Okay, I see.
Right. Jump in, belt it up. Let's go for a little ride. I'll be controlling the machine this time with this PlayStation remote, which makes it a little bit cooler.
So tell me when to...
Yeah, you can grip here just close to this part of the metal. A little bit more, there. Cool. Just gonna pull to the top though in the start position. Feet on the platform.
Like this?
Belt tight. Yeah. Now, when I press start, you're gonna see a countdown 5 seconds. Go. Once you see go, start pulling. Right? But the first one, easy. Breathing, mild effort. The second one, then you can switch on and pull fast and hard, resist hard. Okay? Here we go. 5 seconds. And start pulling. Bring it down to your chest, head back a little bit. Good. All the way. 2, 1, down we go. Here we go. Pulling fast and hard. Challenging. All the way. 2, 1. Resisting. Gripping. Forearms, biceps, back muscles. Keep going, Blake. Got more in you.
How's the pumps?
Oh, man. That's crazy.
Going towards the middle. Resisting and opening up 90 degrees.
So, warm up.
Warm up rep. Here we go. 2, 1. Blake. Towards to the middle. And resist. Opening up. Opening up. All the way. Keep pulling. Keep pulling, resisting against, fighting against. Try to stay above that green line. Keep an eye on the computer, and off we go. Here we go. One more. You got this. Third and last one. Here we go, Blake. 2, 1. That was perfect. You did really well.
Yeah.
You still got it, man.
Thanks,
see?
man.
That was awesome. But you see how we can see a pattern of building up and a pattern of fatigue?
Yeah.
Really interesting. Look at here. In black, we can highlight your peak max performance on the pulling phase, the concentric phase. But look at on the eccentric, how much more you can resist against. This is what we normally say is the meat left on the bone in the gym training. Because you cannot match your strength curve. You would have to do a few more sets to feel like you're feeling right now in 1 minute and 30 seconds.
How do you feel?
How do I feel? Like I've worked my muscle. I thought because I haven't warmed up, I thought maybe I'd hurt myself, but I'm just using the muscle here.
The first one being mild effort, you start to activate some slow twitch muscle fibers. Right? And then sequentially, when you start to go hard, but because it's not explosive, you're going to activate muscle fibers sequentially.
Yeah.
So the best warm up for that exercise is actually going with a mild effort on the first.
Yeah.
You're more than ready then to really start to contract hard. Wow. Right? In the end here, we pretty much actually, once you go hard on this first 2 reps, you are actually already accelerating the fatigue rate in getting to those fast twitch muscle fibers.
Yeah.
Right? We call even the glycolytic fast twitch muscle fibers, which is normally really hard. You need so much weight in the gym to replicate this 2,809 total output in terms of pounds torque force. You would have a lot of weight to lift in the gym to do what you just did here in 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So instead of squatting in the gym with a lot of weight, putting pressure on the spine. Yes, with this machine we can squat, but actually pressuring or putting the tension from the waist. You really feel it.
Yeah.
So far, how does this compare to F45 or your usual training?
So I never pushed myself this hard at F45. And I haven't done weights for years, so I'm definitely feeling like I've had a massive. It feels like I've done 3 sets of chest, like 3 sets of 10 or 12, and 3 different exercises. So that's, yeah. And how many have I done? 3.
2 sets.
2 sets.
Chest.
Feels like I've done 9.
Yeah.
3 different exercises.
But you see, that's the main difference, because on those sets you were pressing from here, everything you got from here all the way to fully contracted, and then on the way back you were resisting as much as you can in the gym. You probably can lift 100, but you can resist 140.
Okay.
But we cannot do that, right? We need 2 guys and weights on, weights off. It would be quite dangerous. Here it's happening naturally, right? You're gonna press as much as you can, and then you can resist more, which average human can resist eccentrically 20 to 40% more. You will.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why you can feel that particular pump like in 2 sets. That it normally takes longer in the gym.
Yeah.
So
what's the best way to get measured?
So we here at This Health, we sort of track your progress to a Fit3D scanner machine.
3D
that
scanner,
pretty much produce a hologram of your body, all the metrics, posture analysis, all get sent to your email. And then we also do caliper tests and other measurements. But the Fit3D will give you a good hint in 4 weeks what we can achieve with high intensity training.
What do you think about the whole experience?
Would definitely be the most intense sort of workout I've had, considering the amount of time that we did it in. I've had a cardiovascular workout. I mean, I'm puffing still, and all my muscles are pretty pumped. So yeah, it's crazy. Very good.
Man, you need to come back.
Thanks, man. We're doing another podcast.
Awesome, yes.
Catch you, man. Cool. Awesome. Give it a go. Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling wasted. Feeling wasted in a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way.